Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Dom Williams. It's a Smart Business Moves.
Woohoo.
How's everyone doing today?
I'm tired.
You're tired.
I'm dragging a little.
Well,
You look exhausted.
Thanks for that.
You look like $5.
Nice.
well, I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here.
Yay, good. Oh, what a cute little tiny water. I hope you have a few of those, Dom. That's a baby water.
It is, but it makes sure that the kids and the people that don't like water so much drinks it all. So it's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that drives me nuts. Yeah. The like liter-sized bottles, they take a sip out of it. And...
Well, it would drive me nuts, except I just look at it as more water for me. I just drink the ends of everybody else's water.
Yeah, that's how we get COVID, Liz.
I know it's not fun. Not recommending it. Absolutely not recommending that.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah, it's not a good plan.
You're going around emptying everybody's bottle into
one big one.
Actually, no, I usually just move my straw from bottle to bottle. You've seen me do this, Tom.
Sorry to say I have, yes.
Bottle to bottle. Yeah. Whoever has an empty bottle, yeah, that's pretty much the one that I use there. All right. So what happened over the weekend? Anything? Did anything in the news? Anything blow up?
There was some snow stuff going on in various parts of the country. How are you guys faring up in Kokomo?
It is just cold. There's no snow on the ground. I think we had flurries 2 days ago. That's it.
Oh.
Okay.
We haven't had a snow, we haven't had a real snow yet.
Oh.
Well,
Are you knocking on wood over there, Dom? Are you just challenging?
I don't care. I'm just in the house all day.
Actually, I was up there in November, I guess, like just before convention, and it snowed. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but the ground got white.
Like flurries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we haven't had nothing. We haven't have snow trucks out or anything like that yet.
I haven't seen snow in 4 years.
Tom, he's a braggart. You're just bragging.
Oh, hey, it snowed 9 inches in Greenville today, though. We had to close stuff down.
Wow, really? Wow. Well, we've had quite a bit of snow here too, but nothing like Sean Day over there in Cleveland. 2 feet in one night.
Sean, you win.
Yeah, you totally win, Sean. I saw your pictures. I think it was your pictures on Facebook too. Wow, it's a lot of snow.
We gladly give you that trophy, that distinction.
Yeah, and if you could keep it for yourself, that'd be awesome. Don't share. Well, anything else happen? I haven't heard of really anything else. That's why I don't live in Cleveland. I'm with you there, Andrew. I understand that too.
That would be one of the reasons anyway.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, Cleveland's okay. Cleveland's okay.
Not touching. No, look at me, not touching that. Yeah, hands off. Well, we're still on KPIs. So, and we've got Dom on here going to talk about HireWho, or from HireWho, going to talk about some hiring KPIs. I know people are interested in hiring like never before. You must just be feeling like the most popular guy at the dance right now, Dom, when it comes to hiring, huh?
Somewhat, but there's a lot of pressure. Because everyone is out looking for like that one thing that their business is missing. And there's just not just this one thing that's just going to fix your hiring or your retention and stuff like that during the situation that we're in.
Yeah.
So
that I get that. Oh, so Linda says I'm out of focus. Am I out of focus for you guys?
You're a little blurry.
A little blurry.
I wonder why. Anything I can do on my end? I look fine to me.
Get faster internet service.
I have the fastest they have.
in
Well,
Olympia, Washington.
that's what happens when you live in a city with 23,000 people, I guess. All right. Sorry, y'all. That's the best I got then.
Do you have anything else open on your computer that maybe would be sucking a little bandwidth?
I have so much open on my computer. That's a good
Huh?
call. I'll shut everything down. I'll shut down Facebook and all that other stuff.
If you disappear, we'll know why.
I'm going to try not to eliminate StreamYard. Tell me if I get better here. I have so many things open.
So while Liz is going down that route, I mean, the whole hiring thing certainly has been front and center here for, wow, it seems like forever. I guess for the last year or so, anyway, huh? Since COVID was really a thing. Got to stop and throw this up here. Yeah, thank you, Paul. We're rocking it a little bit. It's a little grayer than it used to be, but hey, got to play the hand you're dealt.
I like it. I like a little bit of scruff there, Tom. I think it looks good. All right. Am I any better?
No.
That's the best I can do, y'all. I closed everything.
Okay.
All right.
So, Dom, you have a bunch of people coming to you looking for solutions to their hiring problems.
Yeah, everyone's coming thinking that we're going to change the type of people that apply for their company, get them more applications coming in, and no one's in charge of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, our industry is what it is. So the people that are attracted to our industry are. Now, I do have to say that this has changed a little bit. We have seen the landscape change a little bit with some of the COVID, like when the government was requiring vaccinations for people, some of the large companies. I'm guessing now that that's off the table, it's going to go back to some of the same pool that we used to see. But
yeah, I saw that the other day.
Yeah.
I think it's still kind of up in the air. If you're in a healthcare setting or working for someone who's getting some federal, monies, I think you still are expected to for your employees to be vaccinated. So I know that we've been seeing a lot of people coming out of the healthcare setting for, vaccine being part of it. And the other part of it is just, it's been a grind. So
yeah.
Bad news for our healthcare system, but maybe good news for us looking to hire people.
Yeah, we actually had because we do commercial cleaning as well, and we've actually had some of our commercial clients come out to us and say, all of our employees along with our vendors have to be vaccinated prior to stepping on our ground. So we've actually had, for certain cases, employees had to be vaccinated to be hired.
Wow, vendors too. I hadn't heard that one. Wow. All right.
That's interesting. I wonder, do you have an opportunity maybe to negotiate a higher bill rate for that?
I would yes, I would say for a normal client, yes, but if I could tell you who the client was, no.
They don't negotiate.
Yeah,
okay.
It's one of those things where we're just thankful to have the client. We're thankful to tell people to clean this client. We put it that way.
It's like does a nail negotiate with a hammer? Not really.
So
that's good, Tom. I like that. All right, so you got that one, Tom? All right, good job. All right, so when we're talking, so Paul is saying that some companies are keeping their policies too. Yeah, we have seen that here too in Olympia, that even though it's not required, they're keeping it because it's serving them better. They're getting more of what they're looking for. So that's a great reason also. Well,
so
go ahead, Tom.
No, I know, Dom, you spend your time doing several different things. I mean, you have some real estate ventures you're into, and you do both residential and commercial cleaning on a very meaningful scale. And you have a software product called HireWho.io that is designed to help companies, I guess, applicant tracking system maybe is the formal term for this type of software. So, help us out with the KPI side of how do we measure our hiring process? What numbers can we apply to hiring to see if we're improving our outcomes?
Yeah. So I think the first thing, as a business owner, we have to make sure our funnel is strong. So I get the number one question I get all the time is, where should I be posting jobs at? Where should I be posting, my job postings at? And we all have this love and hate relationship with Indeed. However, we got to post there. Okay. It's worthless to really complain about it because they have the most traffic. They just do, right? It's almost like saying if you're trying to do marketing for your business, you're not going to make a Google page. Like it doesn't make any sense, right? So my first recommendation to get your funnel correct is to ensure that your job is posted everywhere. So the king of recruiting, Sean, is on here.
I guess that's disapproval for
yeah.
LinkedIn.
So it just needs to be everywhere. There is no one great place. Every market's different. My market for where I'm at, Facebook works great. And some places tell me that they don't get any applications on Facebook. So the best way to just go about it is just to make sure your job's posted everywhere. That way you can actually even start to get some data to collect.
Okay. Well, you're hitting on a hot point for us, Dom. We are always big on getting some data to collect and be able to measure and track and be able to figure out where you're going to. That's awesome.
Now, one of the KPIs that, since we're talking about KPIs, that is, and it's really simple to collect, and I think is a very critical piece that we all just kind of lose sight of is the conversion rate. Really, that's what it is. How many people are actually viewing and looking at your job posting, and compared to how many people are actually submitting the application. So I like to call that the conversion rate because that's really, if you're looking at it from a sales end, that's the sale is to get them to complete that application, right? That's the first step. So what's that number look like? Is 4 out of 10 filling out the application? Is it less than that? If it is, then we may need to go back and take a look at our actual job ad because something needs to be tweaked.
All right. So if the number, do you have I harassed Sean with this question just last week too. Do you have any kind of benchmarks, or are you in the kind of the same boat? It depends on which part of the country you're in, et cetera, what size your business is, that kind of stuff.
Right. And then the other thing too, it depends on all those things. Did we lose Tom? And
yeah, he'll be back for a minute.
And the other thing too, I think it depends on how often you're recruiting, right? So like for my cleaning company, we recruit a ton, pretty much all the time. We've got the jobs posted, we've got them live and things like that. So you can't expect every time the job, because some of those views are going to be the same people that are seeing your job. So, for me, I try to stay around that 40% conversion rate. 4 out of 10 people, I want them to apply and submit an application. And then some jobs, it's a lot lower. When I post a sales position for like my commercial team, it's a lot lower because, there's a lot more risk in that job that when they apply for that one. So it just kind of depends on that.
All right. So I'm guessing that the answer is it depends. You got to start tracking some metrics and you need to know where you are and then be improving. If you're not getting results that you want, then improve on the numbers you have. Don't worry about what other people's numbers are.
Yep.
Get your own numbers and improve on them.
And another thing, Liz, too, is it depends on the time of the year. So if like January is a really good time for people to start making goals and all that good stuff, right? And a lot of people start job searching as well. So, because a lot of people will keep that job around the holidays. And then, come January, February, they're ready to jump ship. So some people, like for my company, I've noticed it, kind of ticked up a little bit during January.
Okay. Great. I like that you're telling us from your own perspective too of your cleaning companies and not just of the HireWho perspective. That's helpful hearing about it from both sides, kind of at the same time. So Sean is saying the same thing that you said about 40% is spot on with him too. In general.
And Andrew's wanting to hear more about HireWho. And Andrew, you hang around. We're going to spend some time here at the end to talk about HireWho a little bit and how that can help you with your recruiting and hiring process.
I'll give you all the details.
Yeah.
Yep.
Give you the skinny. So,
all right. So the first KPI that you're saying that people need to track if they're looking at hiring, the very first thing is the conversion from eyes on site to applications.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. And then,
and of course, how many applications they're even getting, how many people are jumping and even applying actually for the job.
Okay. So actually the number is the number high enough. All right.
Yep.
The number of applicants. Okay.
So really, I guess the whole recruiting and hiring kind of blend into each other. You really can't measure one without the other. On our process flow chart, Dom, I probably should have shared this at the beginning. We break those out separately, but we should probably be doing a lot to measure them together. This is kind of the process flow chart that we've been going through this month. And we've done some things in marketing and sales. We talked about recruiting. Sean Day helped us with recruiting last week, I guess, last Wednesday. The hiring process and the training process, we'll get to that. But I guess before you can actually even get a good handle on how to measure how well you're executing from a hiring process, you got to really go back to your recruiting. Is that the thinking?
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense.
Correct. You got to have the funnel right.
And what do you have to say about the quality of the people that are applying? Dom, do you have anything to say about that, or is it just initially we need quantity as our first concern, and then we work on quality second? Is it
okay? So that's really good. I just did a call today, and we spent probably 20 minutes talking about this. So basically, there was a time where I would always see people's job ads, and in the job ad, they were trying to have the applicant validate whether or not they were a good fit for the job per se, right? They would put in there, here's my requirements. You got to have a car. You got to do all this, all those different things. And I don't think that's important because I do want as many applicants as possible.
Okay.
Right. I think the part that is very critical is you got to have your screening setup process so well to where that portion is actually screening the applicants for you. That way, it doesn't matter whether you get 200 applicants and 100 of them are crap. It's because you got a system in place that's automatically screening those for you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So usually when I hear a lot of people complain about, I'm posting on Indeed and I'm getting a whole bunch of junk, it's either because they're spending a lot of money and they're wasting money, or B, they're spending a lot of time filtering through those applications, which is still wasting a whole bunch of money. So, I think if you have a process in place that's doing that for you, or a third party or someone doing it besides yourself, you actually don't care about having a ton of applications. You want as many as possible. So I would always say quantity.
All right. So make sure that you have enough coming in so that you have, it sounds like what you're saying is so that your pool is large enough to be able to choose who you want. Or if your pool is too tiny, you feel constrained to I have to take what comes because that's all I got.
Yep, we start making decisions because we have to at that point.
Yeah.
But you make a point too, though, that if you're paying for those leads, then you don't want to be spending a lot of money on people who aren't qualified either, I would think. So is there a balance there?
So no, I say my well, here's all I can talk about is what I do in that sense, because everybody's a little bit different. I would say when I was a company with 3 or 4 employees, my thought process was different compared to now. You have to, if you don't have a budget set aside for recruiting, I think that's the first step. Some people are still trying to get away with recruiting for free. And they don't realize that those days are long gone. If you're recruiting for free right now, then it's just golden for you. You're one of the lucky ones. So
Craigslist charges money now? What?
Yeah, let's charge money. So I would just say figure out what your budget is, whether that's $500 a month or $1,000 a month, and then you need to spend it accordingly, the same way you would do your marketing budget. Whether that's $400 on Indeed and $200 on Facebook or whatever that is. But, you only can spend what your budget allows. But that's where I say you'd start. All
right. So do you have nobody loves these questions. I recognize that. But we have such a wide range of people that are business owners that are watching Smart Business Moves that I feel like it's sometimes more helpful to talk in terms of percentage, because if we have a company on here, and I'm going to ramble for a little bit so you have a chance to think, but if we have a company on here that's bringing in $100,000 a year and as $100,000 in revenue, and they hear $1,000 hiring budget, that is a lot different than if we have a $3 million company on here that's hearing a $1,000 monthly budget. So, Rohan, that's such a good question. So we'll get to that question because it's an amazing question, Rohan. All right. So can you help us a little bit with that, Dom? What the
percentage of the budget should be for that?
Maybe anything? I'll give you this, that when we're doing marketing for clients, right? There is kind of an idea that like 2 to 6% is what you're looking for. If you're trying to grow really, really aggressively, then you're going to want more than that. You might want 10%. Some people will. But a really good growth rate you can probably get with 6%. If you're just trying to grow slowly, you might want to keep it down around 2%. Are there any kinds of numbers? I feel like tracking these numbers at all is kind of a new thing for people. So we just don't have the benchmarks like we have for marketing for clients.
It's very true. It's very true. And as you're speaking, I'm pulling up my report.
See what we have.
That broken down.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Tom, would you agree with me that since COVID hit, that there is so much more focus on employee metrics than ever in the past?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's where all the action has been, the whole idea of building your funnel and conversion rates and all of that, rolling back, pre-COVID, all of that was about, getting leads to your website and getting more customers basically. But that flipped upside down with COVID.
So here's where I'm at for last year.
Okay.
And this is only including, Indeed boosting, Facebook boosting, softwares, anything like that. I'm at 0.5%.
Okay. So
for the year.
So 0.5% for you for a year. So for the year. All right. So that's a number for people to be looking at. I'm sure that you haven't looked at this number, and you're not going to tell us that's what everybody should be doing. I can see that.
No, I don't know. And I would say it works differently for the specific industries, because the other thing, Tom, too, I actually own 2 convenience stores here in Kokomo, and
Okay.
I will tell you, our recruiting process for those companies are much different.
Oh yeah.
How so?
So when I acquired that business, it's more of one of those things where most people apply in person.
Mm.
Applying online is not the norm for their business.
Okay.
So that's one thing that's extremely different. It's a different type of ideal candidate as well. So that was completely new to me. So that was extremely different. And we really don't spend any money when it comes to the recruiting process.
You think that like your applicants are coming in there looking for a job, or they're coming in there looking for a pack of cigarettes, and while they're there seeing that you're hiring?
Right. I think that's most of the case what it is. Like for our cleaning companies, we really don't have that many people coming through the doors except for our employees and maybe a client or two. But for this business, each location I think has about 300 cars a day coming through. So all of those people, 10% of them could be prospective applicants for the company. So there are people that are coming through every day. Hey, are you guys hiring? How do I fill out an application? Things like that. I've attempted, because I purchased it back in August, I've attempted to get them to move over to like obviously HireWho and things like that. And we've got an account set up, but we just don't ever have to use it because we've always got applicants of people coming in there and they're filling it out. So, and this has been really, really hard for me because like I want them to use it. I want them to be
Right.
hotter and stuff like that. But the other part, it's like, okay, if it's not broke, Dom, don't go in there and just try to switch it up because that's what you know. So it's been cool to see that.
Yeah, I kind of really love that you brought that up because that's just making my brain think in completely new ways right now. I'm like,
you think you could set like a kiosk up and recruit for your cleaning services in your stations?
So what's really, really cool is with going back to data with HireWho and any software using, whether it was just Indeed, you can obviously pull up where those people are applying. So the first job we actually posted for Lexi's, you could see some of those same applicants that may have applied for my cleaning company as well. And I could kind of cross-reference data on no show interviews and all that stuff. So it was almost too freaky.
That's nice. Yeah. But you did say they have different ideal candidates.
They do. They do.
So is there any crossover there that you can use? I would think that there is some. You have to have the customer service piece, right?
You do. You got to have the customer service, but the cleaning is just much more physical demanding compared to the bar. Yeah, sitting on a, and they don't really sit. So I don't want to take away credit from them. They don't do that. There's no sitting, but
not when you're in the store anyway.
Yeah, serving Cokes and stuff like that. It's just much different.
Yes.
But it is, I will say it's a lot. It's more fast paced. The other thing is tips are like tips are normal in the cleaning industry for some markets, but it's really, really normal for our drink barns because like the cars are coming through and they're leaving a tip with every drink that they buy practically. So
wait, what?
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
What type of drinks are you serving?
Drink bar.
Yeah. So it's like and the reason I say convenience store, because that's the easiest way to explain it without going into that.
I'm picturing 7-Eleven, but now
no, it's not a 7-Eleven. We're not selling gas or anything like that. Basically, it's like a barn. Okay, it's not huge. I don't even know the really. It's no bigger than 7.
Like if I want a vodka tonic, can I come into your? I mean, is that type of bar?
It's no bigger than 700 to 800 square feet total each barn. Okay, and there's 2 drive-through lanes on each side, and you could literally just pull up, Tom, and say, "Hey, I want a Diet Coke," and we'll get you a Diet Fountain Coke, right?
Yeah.
And you could maybe you want biscuit and gravy or paninis or some chips or some candy, anything like that. That's what we sell.
Okay.
So it's really quick, efficient.
Kind of like a snack shop. It's kind of like a
it's a snack
drive-through
shop.
snack shop. All
Yeah,
right.
that's a good one. That's a good one.
All right. But I also heard you say something about like drinks, making me think alcoholic drinks.
No.
Well, I was thinking I could see tipping for that, but wait a minute.
No.
People are tipping the person that is giving them a frozen Coke at the drive-through. They're tipping that person?
Oh yes.
Why? I mean,
it's so like, I mean, it is a very large portion of their income.
okay, so now I'm confused by this. In where you live, do they tip the fast food people, the drive-throughs?
Nope.
So what's the difference? I'm not getting it.
I don't know.
No.
Okay. And I didn't know they tipped. So look, I was a customer of this place. Okay. Listen,
And you never tipped.
I know. I was a customer of this place. I never tipped. And then I started realizing, oh, so people are tipping here. So then when I purchased it, I started telling my friends, I'm like, hey, you know, they tip. Like, this is a real thing. This is a tip is required.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I didn't know that, because I think it's just because it's such a cash-based business.
Oh, kind of like coffee.
So yeah, we sell coffee
Kinda
as
like
well.
a coffee hut.
So let's say you go up and you get a drink for $2, and it's $2.25. Okay, well, if you're giving them $3, hey, go ahead and keep the change. I'm gone, because it's quick.
Oh, so that's exactly what Andrew is saying right here. It's nice to at least leave your change as a tip.
Correct.
So when he says tobacco barns, I'm guessing there's tobacco barns. Like you can kind of go through and do
We've got those as well.
Well, we're
So
learning
you
a lot
told
more.
you told all your friends that people leave tips because you didn't want your friends stiffing your people at that point when you bought it.
Nice.
Correct. We have to increase that hourly rate for all of our staff, and that's how we're going to do it.
Okay, so all right. So this took us way off track with KPIs, but I am sorry, that was just way too interesting for me. I have never heard of this, and I'm so intrigued now. We do not have either these tobacco barns, or what do you call them? Drink barns?
Drink barns.
Drink barns. And so this is common. I'm taking you're not the only one that has two of these drink barns.
No, most of them are like in like a gas station, like a real gas station. Most of them would have like a drive-through where you could come through and get like certain selected things at the drive-through.
Okay.
So
all right, but yours is without the gas or anything. Just it's more like a snack shop, like a just drive-through snack shop thing.
Yep. And I love it.
It's easier to hire for them than it is for your cleaning businesses.
Tom, here's what I'll tell you. That business is easier to run than the cleaning company is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here, you've already talked Ty into starting a drink barn.
Oh, yeah. Ty's
Indiana,
great.
do you know him?
Yes.
Yeah. I haven't met him before. So I'm guessing he's heard of drink barns. You didn't just convince him here on Smart Business Moves?
Well, he was convinced when he saw me purchase it.
No. All right. So here we don't have them. I'd have to start from scratch, but I'm liking this idea a lot.
It's wide open in Olympia, Washington. They don't have a lot of things. I mean,
all 23,000 people could drive through. It would be awesome. Yeah. All right. So let's get back on track with KPIs, although this has just been like one of my favorite forays into other topics in a really, really long time.
What are your thoughts? I mean, going down the funnel, you actually hire somebody, and I hear people talking about bad hires. I made a bad hire, and is there such a thing? And if so, is there a way of measuring that? Is there certain things that you've seen in your work that gives you some insight in terms of, I've got two candidates, and candidate A might be more successful than candidate B for some reason?
Yeah. So one of the things I could add to that would be, this might be unpopular opinion, but when we hire a certain group, so like we hired 5 people this month, okay?
Yeah.
We already understand that all 5 are not going to work out. We're okay with that. We are clear on that. It's an open conversation with our admin team. We know that they're not all going to work out. So if we can just get 50% of those people to be successful and make it past that 90 days, then that's a huge win for our company.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we look at it for that. And as far as a bad hire, I don't really do the recruiting for either company. That's why I said I wasn't going to interrupt that team any because I don't want to do the recruiting. And so from an owner standpoint, telling your hiring manager, your operations manager that these people were bad hires or anything like that will actually just not motivate them to want to do that task anymore. So we don't really have those conversations, honestly, because even if I was to come in and do the recruiting, I'm still going to struggle with certain bad hire. We all go through it, So I would say the only thing that I would consider a bad hire is someone that could negatively affect our culture. Other than that, it's out of your control.
All right. I feel like that's a really good definition for a bad hire, though. Somebody that's going to negatively impact your culture could definitely be seen as a bad hire versus just somebody that leaves and so if somebody leaves in like less than a week, you wouldn't consider it a bad hire unless you hired 5 people. Would you consider anything having to do with a hiring issue if all 5 left within a week? Or would you consider that a different problem?
Yeah, that would suck. So going back to kind of like our process when we're hiring people, as long as so we have kind of a checklist that we go through in the interview stage, and all of the way that the people answer and their responses are all pointed. Okay. So we have that interview broken down into like 100-point interview. And as long as the interview's passed with, obviously the main qualifiers and I think it's like 80% or higher, then that is a flag that, hey, this person can be hired based on those numbers, right? That way the recruiting manager, whoever's doing the hiring, is not making any biased decisions based on what they're showing on their paperwork. Okay. Now, if we did that with 5 people and all 5 people quit in the week, then that means we need to go back and look at our process.
Gotcha. So there's a problem with the process. It's not a problem with bad hires. It's that there's something wrong with our process. So your process is, I think what I heard is your process is a good process as long as 50% of the people that are hired still work for you in 90 days.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's a metric that we can easily track. That is a nice KPI for hiring, is a 50% stick rate for 90 days. Right? Okay.
And I guess the other part, or several parts, but another important part of that, I guess, is what happens on the first day of work and the days after that to make sure that you're doing all the things you can do to help that person be successful. And when the alarm goes off in the morning, they're excited about coming to work for you.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question for you guys. So here's
no. It doesn't work that way. Go ahead.
Here's a way to kind of think about it. If you hire someone and they quit and they don't work out on day 1 or day 3,
yeah,
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
All right. So in my mind, it is a good thing and a bad thing.
Okay.
It's a bad thing that we hired them at all. We should have known better. We should have weeded them out. Yep. But it's a good thing that they weeded themselves out since we didn't do a good job. Thank goodness they did.
Yeah. And it's a great thing that they weeded themselves out on day 3.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In my mind, there's no 100% in this. I play these statistics games, and I have like marbles all over my office with different colors in them. So I've got a jar that's got like 100 marbles in it, and 90 of them are red, and 10 of them are blue. And I'm going to reach in there and grab one and ask you to guess what color it is. And there's only one good answer. You're going to guess red, but 1 out of 10 times you're going to be wrong. But I tell my people that if you ever guess blue, I'm not gonna be happy with that. You keep guessing red, and every once in a while it's going to be blue, and we'll be better off in the long run. And hiring is kind of the same way. Every once in a while, all your best metrics, you're still going to be blue when you were looking for red. So in that regard, it is what it is. You keep playing the odds. You want to know sooner rather than later. The part that I do question, though, is it under your control? Did that person leave after, one day because you failed to make them feel welcome? Was it an execution issue that contributed to them leaving, on the first or second day?
And I would say that, going along with what you're saying, Tom, it really doesn't matter if you're hiring people and they're leaving in 1 to 3 days, and you're having that, if those are your red balls, that's a problem, right? Those can't be your red balls. It's okay if that happens 1 in 10 times, but if 9 out of 10 times they leave in 1 to 3 days, then that there's your problem. So I feel like this metric that Dom has makes sense for what he's looking for. 50% stick for 90 days. So it's okay if they leave in 1 day or 3 days, as long as less than half of them do.
Right.
The minute we have that third person that quits in 3 days, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
So then I guess that's really where the numbers can help you. And, I don't know if you've had a chance to break your data down based on lead source and how, various questions were answered, on the application. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can parse the data, but I would think that once you do it long enough, you could start getting some insights in terms of, people who answer these questions this way and the other criteria might be more successful than, people who don't.
So the answer to that is yes. There is data for certain questions in your application process. What I recommend is having a like an A/B testing type of thing where, like if you went to our career page, we would have the same job posted, but it may be a different city. It may be different questions in there as far as like same type of questions, asked differently, right? Different screening questions there to really see what type of results we're getting that way. And I would even do A/B testing when it comes to the actual job description as well. So you could really kind of compare the two between each other. So
Okay, that makes sense.
Another KPI that is very critical. So one of the things that people would always do that I still hear this from times is that people will say, I'm going to make my application process as difficult as possible. I want them to jump through hoops and all this stuff, all that stuff, right? Well, now with the great, resignation, people just don't have to do that no more.
No.
They just don't have to jump through hoops. I mean, I was looking a couple weeks back, I was looking at someone's application, and I mean, it was a long process. Like, I didn't even, like me personally, I was doing the demo. I didn't even read it all. That's how long it was. and an applicant just wouldn't do that. Like right now, when everyone's just, when everyone's hiring, no one's going to do that. So one of the KPIs that's important is, what is the average time that it's taking to complete the application? Okay. Is it 3 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 15 minutes to complete your application? I can recall when I applied for Sears. You remember Sears, Tom?
Oh yeah. Are they still in business? I mean, they are kind of, aren't they?
No, I don't think they really are. I think they closed the last store at the end of last year. They closed the last store.
I know they did the bankruptcy thing and rolled up into Kmart, and it's all gone now.
I left, they've been struggling. So ever since I left, they've been struggling. So I think it was me that left. But either or, when I applied for Sears, I remember like the application process took like 45 minutes. Like I had to take an assessment test, and
Wow.
Like, it was the norm.
Yeah.
It was the norm to spend that long filling out an application for big companies. And you just can't do that. You just can't do that. My application process takes no longer than 3 to 4 minutes to fill out.
Okay.
And then from there, we will start the relationship from there.
All right.
Okay. Can I digress for a minute?
Yeah.
Back to you see this this yacht?
Yep.
Yes.
It's called the Fountainhead. It's owned by Eddie Lampert, who is the guy who owned
The owner.
Kmart and
Yeah.
bought, the whole deal. He comes to Charleston every once in a while, and you see these, like, there's boats down here, and these are like 30-foot boats, and these like go on the stern of this boat. This is, I don't know, it's like 288 feet. Anyway, it's one of the biggest. It's a really big boat. So
Really big.
Sears is out of business, but the guy who owned them is doing okay.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
This picture doesn't. I mean, compared to, there's a lot of big yachts, but this thing just smokes them all. It's one of the biggest yachts I've ever seen. Anyway, I digress.
He's like, okay, you can still be out of business, do everything wrong, and have a really big boat.
Hey,
Really big.
For anybody that's on here that has not actually read up on that like story of like how they sold everything and changed everything, it's interesting. You should definitely read it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I will. That is
Because
a great.
they own so many products and brands that's how they ended up staying in business forever, is because they sold out so much stuff before it got to like zero.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate that. I will definitely look into that. Sounds like something we might both enjoy, Tom.
Yeah.
Whoever can find the best book.
He made a lot of money going broke.
Yeah. Did it in a really good way, right? Or
Well, it depends if you were an employee or not. I mean, or a supplier, or there's there are a lot
all right. So let's talk a little bit more about hiring here. So I have I had a couple of questions around when we're looking to hire people. Are there any kind of metrics around things like some of the common things that we have looked at in the past? One of them is you gave a really good example. All right, let me turn off my alarm here. A really good example of how long your application is. How long does it take to fill it out? How about anything like some of the things that people have talked about in the past are how far away someone lives from your where you do business. Is that still something we should be looking at? Is that a consideration? Or maybe how long they've been in a job in this new, like with the gig economy and with the great resignation. Do you find that you can still have good employees, but that have had quite a few more jobs? Do you have any kind of metrics around that in hiring, Dom?
Yeah. So to touch on your question about the location, we see a better success rate when we're hiring people 15 minutes or less from our office.
All right. So that's still true.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed.
Yeah.
And again, that's not to say that if you hire someone outside of that, they won't be successful.
Of course.
But just proven it works. It works for sure. And then you said another question about.
So I was just wondering if you have any of those types of questions. I was just throwing out a couple of examples, like how far they live or how many jobs they've had maybe in the past year. Is that still one of the things that you want to be looking at?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that could be different now.
Yeah. So for me, what I like to see when I'm even considering giving someone an interview, we're looking at the job history, right? And we obviously don't want someone that's obviously a job hopper. Where that's changed with COVID is at one point we were only looking for people that were actually employed, right? So if they weren't employed, we're like, okay, well, why weren't you employed? Because everybody can find a job. So if they weren't employed, we weren't even actually considering bringing them onto our team, because our thought process was we wanted to take them from another employer and bring them onto our team. So that's one of the metrics we were looking for. Are you currently employed right now?
And that's during COVID, because there were a lot of people that were choosing not to work, and you wanted people that were choosing to work.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That makes sense. How about now? That has changed a little bit, but we're still a little bit in that. Are you still looking at that?
I mean, obviously that's always good, but it's changed a little bit. So we have been hiring people that are unemployed, just because a lot of the people still aren't on unemployment. But we're still looking for that candidate that's employed.
That's employed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you're not really thinking too much about this is what I heard. Make sure that I'm correct here. As long as they're employed, even if they've had maybe 4 or 5 jobs in the past year, as long as they are currently employed, they are what we would consider a good candidate. Yes.
No. We're still looking at how many places they've job hopped as well.
Okay.
Yeah, no, we're still looking.
All right. And has that number changed at all? I know for us, that number has changed. I mean, in the past, I would expect that people have not changed job more than once per year. Yeah. But now I'm seeing that a lot of our applicants are like, hey, let's find a job I actually love. And they're looking around. They're jumping from job to job.
Yeah. For me, any more than 2 job hops in a year is too much.
Okay.
Any more than
just 2 not having good success.
Yeah, because you could say if we're being fair, someone could go to an employer and just not have a good experience. Like it could be bad, and then they find another job. But honestly, if you think about it, if someone's got 4 jobs on their application that they've been to in the past year and a half, they're actually probably not even including them all.
I never even thought of that.
Those are just the ones that were worthwhile to list.
Okay, that's funny. I never even thought of that. So here's where my brain was going, Dom. That you would be okay with 4 employers in a year because you're only trying to keep them 3 months. So if they have 4 jobs, there are 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. So in your mind, as long as it's 4 or less, it would be good.
You know where that 90 days comes from?
Oh, where?
So for me, I don't know where the original term of 90 days came from, but for my 90 days. Yeah. So before the 90 days, like when you talk about like someone quitting on the day 1 or day 3.
Yeah.
Some of those things in those days, we probably can't control, right? Mm-hmm. There might've been something that whatever, they made their own thoughts in their head. There's no way for us to tackle and overcome it. Yeah. But after someone's been here 30 days, 45 days, now we've got that opportunity to coach them and mentor them and things like that. So we can actually work on that retention of that employee. Once it's past 90 days, it's up to us to keep them.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily considered a bad upfront hire.
So you're thinking at 90 days, they're yours to lose, not yours to gain, right? At that point.
Right.
Yeah,
it's not a hiring issue at that point.
Right. It's not. It's a retention issue at that point.
Yep. But you're considering that up to, I think, did I just hear that up to 90 days, you are still considering a hiring issue, that maybe there are some tweaks that we could be making to our hiring system.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yep.
Okay. Oh my gosh, is it getting that late already?
We are pushing up on the top of the hour here, and I wanted to take a minute to let Dom tell us a little bit about HireWho.
Yeah, and maybe
I know we had questions here.
And maybe Andrew, give us a little detail, because of Andrew.
Andrew wants to know.
Yeah, so Andrew and everyone else. So basically what HireWho is, it's an applicant tracking system built for small business owners and small businesses. And basically what it does for you is it streamlines and automates your hiring process. So it could save you a ton of time on the steps that you're taking to get your people in for interviews. For my cleaning company, we practically have the whole system automated from posting the job all the way to the step of actually setting up the interview. So literally the only thing my hiring manager has to do is show up to the interviews, and then the people just walk through the door. So if you're looking to automate it and, engage with your applicants better by, sending them text messages and communicating with them much quicker, we're the application that can do that for you.
All right. I also see here that you have an option for people to try it for free, but can you share what the pricing is after the free section?
Yeah. Yep. So it's a 7-day free trial. It's $49 to get started. And then the second plan is $99 a month, which is our most popular plan. And then from there, it's the $199 per month for that plan. And each plan, the main difference between them is how many jobs at a time do you need to have active. So if you're a really, really small company and you only have like, one position that you really need to post at any given time, it's just a cleaner, then you're probably good with the $49 a month plan. But if you got an office and all these different things, then you could definitely utilize the most popular, which is the $99 plan.
Okay. Any questions, Andrew? Does that clarify stuff for you?
I'll
Hopefully.
drop the link to the website in chat.
All right. And enterprise, what was the enterprise option? Who are we looking at for that? Just curious.
So the thing about us, our platform works for companies, not just in the maid service realm. So we take care of pretty much any type of company that's doing constant recruiting and whatnot can utilize our platform. So enterprise is going to be someone that needs, some custom build outs. They've got more than 20, 30 different jobs across multiple states and things like that. They're your big companies for sure.
Your corporations, your Walmart, your Targets, those types of things.
Correct.
Okay. I got you. All right. Anybody have any last minute questions? We've got 1 minute left before we actually have to go. I'm guessing not. Super helpful. If you do, throw your question in there. We'll get it out there last second, but super helpful. Dom, we haven't really talked about hiring yet. We're working our way down the path here, but I like that you forced us to look at hiring starts with recruiting. Bottom line, whether you like it or not.
This was useful. This was good stuff. And I like the idea that you have a technology solution for this as well of, trying to do your recruiting and hiring and keeping all of that straight with pieces of paper. I mean, this is 2022 and your time's worth a lot more than what you would have to invest without some level of automation. So if you don't have a solution, take a look at HireWho. It's a cool product. We are at the top of the hour. What is this? This is Monday. So we're going to be back Wednesday.
We are. Wednesday it is.
You know what we're going to be talking about Wednesday?
I'm going to guess KPIs.
KPIs, employee retention and engagement. And the speaker is going to be Liz Trotter.
I bet I know who that is. That'll be me. All right. Sounds great.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
So if you want to get the inside scoop on employee retention and engagement, there's nobody better to speak to that than Liz. So we kind of thought about it, and Liz is going to take it and run with it. So
all right,
I get to make some popcorn and just kick back and have fun on Wednesday.
I do have some KPIs for us to be looking at for retention and engagement too. So looking forward to it. Dom, thanks again. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. Very useful. Appreciate it. Okay. We'll see you